You think you're too smart to follow invisible rules, but the truth is, you follow them more strictly than the people who created them. And here's the part you never notice. You mistake those rules for your personality. Stickman, let's talk about the middle-class rules you don't even know you're obeying. And yes, this part is going to sting. Number 1, the rule of don't be excessive. Most middle-class adults grow up believing that wanting too much is dangerous, that big desires equal big risk, that ambition equals arrogance. So they shrink their wants, negotiate themselves down, and then wonder why their life feels too small for them. This isn't humility, it's internalized fear of standing out, a survival instinct passed down by people who only ever knew safety through compliance. Stickman wants more, but the minute he feels exposed, he zips himself back into reasonable. Most people stay middle class because they're scared of wanting more than their parents did, and it gets worse. Number 2, the rule of be predictable. Middle-class conditioning tells you the safest life is the most stable one. Same routine, same hour, same path. Predictability feels safe until it quietly becomes a prison. Your world gets smaller, your options shrink, and your identity freezes in place. This comes from status anxiety, the fear that if you change too much, the people around you won't understand you anymore. So you stay predictable to stay likable. Most people never realize the price they're paying for being normal. Number 3, the rule of don't outgrow the group. You're taught to match the people around you. Same energy, same expectations, same ceiling. So you self-sabotage the second your life starts expanding. You downplay wins. You filter decisions through, will they think I'm different? You trade identity for belonging. This is the tribal loyalty loop. Your nervous system prioritizes acceptance over evolution. You'd rather stay stuck than risk becoming the outlier. The real trap isn't money, it's the fear of outgrowing the people you love. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Number 4, the rule of follow the script. You're raised with a silent checklist for what a responsible adult does. Even though no one can tell you who wrote it, you follow the script even when it doesn't fit you. The job that flattens you, the schedule that drains you, the identity that feels borrowed. This script survives because of obligation conditioning, the belief that your worth comes from doing what's expected, not what's aligned. It's not responsibility, it's inherited autopilot. But this still isn't the real lock on the cage. Number 5, the rule of don't make people uncomfortable. You're taught to avoid upsetting, confusing, or worrying anyone. Your wants must never disrupt others. So you emotionally babysit everyone around you, partner, parents, coworkers, and call it being considerate. Your decisions get filtered through other people's reactions. This is rooted in fear of relational instability, the belief that if someone is uncomfortable, something is wrong with you. Stickman has choices, but he feels guilty even thinking about them. Most people don't choose their life. They choose whatever makes the fewest people upset. But we're about to hit the twist. You're not following rules. You're following ghosts. Here's the part that stings. These rules don't come from your current life. They come from a past version of you that needed them to survive. You think you're being responsible. You're actually being loyal to fears you inherited, fears that don't match your reality anymore. So let me ask you and think about this carefully. Which version of you are you still protecting? The child, the teenager, the overwhelmed early adult? Because that answer explains everything. Number 6, the rule of stay within what you can mentally manage. People assume they're limited by money, but the real limit is emotional capacity. You only allow the level of life you feel psychologically equipped to handle. Anything larger than your internal world feels too much, so you shrink opportunities down to the size of your nervous system. This is identity capacity mismatch. Your life can expand faster than your self-concept, and when that happens, you unconsciously pull everything back to familiar size, and that leads us to the rule almost nobody can see. Number 7, the rule of don't outgrow who you think you are. Your entire life is shaped by a single internal belief. This is who I am. And you defend that identity even if it's limiting. Anything outside your identity feels unrealistic, not because you can't reach it, but because you can't imagine yourself being the kind of person who does. So you stay middle class psychologically, even when your life could stretch further. This is identity anchoring. You choose choices that protect your self-image, not the ones that expand it. And until that shifts, the invisible rules stay glued to you. You don't feel free not because you lack money, but because you inherited a mental rule book you never questioned. The same patterns that were meant to keep you safe now keep you small, avoiding risk, oversaving, underleaping, and treating discomfort like danger. Wealth wasn't supposed to liberate you. It just made the walls around you quieter, harder to see, easier to justify. The trap isn't financial, it's psychological. And until Stickman recognizes that the ceilings he hits are self-built, passed down, repeated, rehearsed, he'll keep confusing stability with freedom and progress with permission. Freedom only starts when the rules stop being invisible. The real question most people avoid. You don't stay middle class because of money. You stay there because of the invisible rules you follow without ever asking who wrote them or why you're still obeying them. The real trap isn't financial, it's identity. It's the beliefs you inherited before you even knew what normal meant. Middle-class thinking isn't just habits, it's a culture. It teaches you what's responsible, what's realistic, and what you should feel guilty for wanting. And here's the uncomfortable part. You still follow those rules long after the people who gave them to you are gone. Not because they're true, but because they feel familiar. So the question isn't, how do I escape the middle class? It's deeper. Which invisible rule have I been obeying without ever noticing it? Because once you see the rule, it stops controlling you. So here's your question. Which invisible rule do you think has shaped you the most? Drop it in the comments. Your answer tells me exactly where the invisible ceiling sits. Stickman out.